Couple counseling made it worse. So we've been married for over 7 years. I was getting so sick of having to carry the mental load in our relationship while I felt my husband is very unappreciative of me. I do everything in the house, and if I leave my husband to do something, often because I'm not physically capable, that would be left for years or months. So off we went to see an therapist, $300 per hour. She tells us if I want things done by a certain time that it's my problem, not his. Before, my husband would apologize if I get upset when things are not done. But after these sessions he is like, you want it done, not me. I'll get to it, so leave it. He is almost more cocky now that the therapist seeing this as a me problem. How many sessions have you had? Do you plan on going back? Are there other issues you need addressed in therapy? Ask a guy friend to help you do those physical tasks. This was my experience in counseling, 2 tears of joy. Not to make light, but it's funny. I thought it was just our counselor. She told me to give him time frames that he can agree on, and he and I both needed to hold him accountable. Whatever that looks like. It has worked. If I want it done now, I have to do it. But if it's not urgent, I might tell him, babe, it's 5 o'clock, can you make sure the trash goes out before we go to bed? And he agrees, then he needs to honor his word. Good luck. You went to therapy expecting the therapist to fix him. The therapist just pointed out who he is and tried to show you. I tell my kids all the time, you can't control other people's reactions, only your own. You can't control what your boyfriend does or doesn't do. All you can control is your reaction to it. She's trying to tell you that he ain't gonna change. So what are you going to do about it? Adjust your expectations? Or adjust your choice of partner? I feel like we are missing so many details. Details that likely the therapist knew and was responding to? Like, IDK, who works and who pays bills. If you have kids. If this is the only problem. Etc. IDK, what to tell you. You went to therapy and your therapist said you have to adjust some expectations? If that is untenable for you, get a divorce. You could try a new therapist. But someone already pointed out that your husband might not agree or change, or just feel like you are shopping around for someone to agree with you. You expected the therapist to basically be your support to convince your husband he's wrong. That's not how it works though. You need to listen to what she said. You and your husband just took her by her word without any reflection. Therapy is about reflection. Not about becoming children again and letting a parent break up a fight. What she said was, who does what is always the decision of the individual. Always. If he wants to do a task 10 months later, that's his choice. It is your choice, however, to not be okay with it. And you can decide that you're going to do it yourself, hire the task out, leave. He's cocky now because he thinks he is right. But he missed out on the message just as you did. Reflect. And then communicate in therapy. So when you have your next session, tell the therapist that you thought about what she said and agree with her. So please, can she tell you if you understood her correctly? Everyone chooses their own actions and what they are comfortable with. So your husband can choose to do things in his own timeline, and you can choose if you want to live like that. He decides what makes him happy and what he's comfortable with, and you do the same. So, if your toilet is leaking and your husband decides he's going to repair it in 3 months, then that's fine. It's also fine that you don't want to live with a leaking toilet and hire a repairman. Ask a friend, move to your parents for that time? Quote, I'm pretty sure your husband is going to do a double take. Maybe she's right. You can't go to a therapist thinking that you're right and you just need to fix your partner. You have to be prepared to be wrong yourself. I get what she's saying. If you want to give him the responsibility of taking out the trash or other chores that you need Help with good, he should be helping, but that doesn't mean he has to do them the way and time you want them done. If you say, hey, the trash needs to go out, that doesn't mean he has to jump when you say he can do it when he's ready. Make an agreement on what you want him to help with around the house and let him be responsible for them. Not every therapist is the same. It seems like this therapist is not listening to both sides. I would recommend trying a different therapist that is more impartial. So wait. The issue isn't that your husband doesn't help with chores. The issue is that he doesn't do them quick enough? It sounds like you need to find a therapist who has better understanding of household labor. Inequality. https www.zon.net/blog/the-viral-post-about-labor-that-Facebook-keeps-deleting. There's some missing information here. Do you both work full-time jobs? If so, then yes. The household chores should be equally split. If he works full-time and you don't, then it would be reasonable for him to expect you to do more. Everything? No. More? Yes. Going with the assumption that you both work full-time. It's bad enough that you ended up with a therapist that essentially told you to take on the entire burden of household chores. But the fact that your husband took this as a green light, and is even smug about it, is very telling of what kind of person he is. If he has no problem with allowing his wife, again, with the assumption that you work a full-time job, 2, taking on the entirety of housework, and has the gall to be smug about it, he's not going to change. Because he doesn't see anything wrong with his behavior. Some men just really do not see themselves as being responsible for chores, and are fine with their wives doing everything for them. It's called weaponized incompetence. If his lack of responsibility in the house is hurting you, and he refuses to see your perspective, then you have to give him the ultimatum. Start taking this seriously, or I'm leaving. He is almost more cocky now that the therapist seeing this as a me problem. Your therapist isn't wrong. It is a you problem. As in, you have a reasonable standard that your husband repeatedly fails to meet. The question is, what are you going to do with that knowledge? Therapists aren't wizards. They don't wave a therapy wand over broken relationships and fix them. A therapist can't make your husband be considerate or share the load. Marriage should be a team. He should be on your side and taking 50% of the responsibility. Certainly if you both work. Also, I think it's very important to recognize that "it's important to me" thing. He may not care if he leaves the toilet seat up. But if it's important to you to have it down, he ought to make an effort to do that, because that's your wife and you do things for one another. I guess you could always do a trial separation. Then things he doesn't want to do just don't get done, and he can suffer the consequences and you don't. And he can have his cocky attitude. Or you can just stop doing things he likes you doing and you say, if you want them done now, do it. Otherwise I'll get to it in return. No dinner? Okay, make it yourself or wait. Sue your husband as lazy? If no kids, divorce his ass. So the counselor is clearly taking sides here. That's not on. The dishes need doing. At some point you're going to run out, and your husband should do his part of the housework. If you don't want to suck it up, I think you might try considering a life where you don't have to pick up after anyone else. So, counseling only works if you take a breath and approach it openly. That means maybe you need to work on you too. And if you aren't open to that possibility, then counseling can't help. I may be off base here. And please understand, I am not looking to insult you at all. But it really sounds like you went in expecting someone to tell him he is messed up and to change. To be what you want, and are upset that didn't happen. I think there is a compromise here where y'all agree that if you want something done at a certain time, you specifically say that. And if the other can't do it by then, they say that too. I think it is fair that if you need something in a certain time, it is your responsibility to make that happen. Now, in a relationship, you should be seeking to help and serve each other. So if you can do it, do it. If not, for a reason other than I don't feel like it because I want to watch TV or take a nap or some other meaningless time waste, then that needs to be communicated without fear of being punished for it in the form of backlash or anger. If you or he is simply not ever willing to compromise, then it's just not a compatible relationship. My advice is to ask yourself what your boundaries are. If your husband never changes this behavior, are you able to still have a happy marriage with him? Because the main issue here is that not only does he not care about the things you want done, but he doesn't care that it bothers and hurts you. He is not worried that you are upset. He doesn't care that you are hurt, that he won't help you. I don't know if you have read this article, or if after reading it you think it might benefit your husband and relationship. https matthewfrey.com/26/01/14/she-divorce-me-because-I-left-dishes- by But the big picture is that your therapist is right and wrong. Getting these things done is your problem because your husband could care less. What you have to decide is, are you okay with that? Are you fine living the rest of your life with a partner who does not care about the things that are important to you even after you spelled them out? Can you learn to be okay with this being exactly how things are forever? Because right now he has no reason to change. You have told him how you feel, how his lack of help makes you feel, and his response was, too bad for you. This behavior may be a small annoying part of an otherwise great marriage. Or it may be a wake-up call to a lot of hurtful behavior and things you overlooked because, love. That is for you to decide. Good luck. Maybe the therapist is right though.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.